So I guess we're live.
Yeah.
We're live.
Yay. Okay, we're here.
Hi.
Like,
Welcome to Dragonfly Crystals. And I'm so excited to welcome to Dragonfly Crystals. And I'm so excited to I hear myself. And I'm so excited to I hear myself.
Is it me?
I'm completely muted now.
Okay.
It was me. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I didn't know I was even on. I
It's
didn't even
probably me.
It's a good start. So welcome to Dragonfly Crystal Show, and I'm so excited to have Heather of Indigo Crysalis Tarot on, as well as Colleen, the cool Crone.
Very cool.
And I got and be full. I've got a name change coming too. So I said, and in the future, keep an eye out because I am going to be changing my name for my channel.
You are? Oh, do we get a hint as to the new?
I'm still going to keep the Indigo, but the Crysalis Tarot, I've grown out of the Chrysalis, and it's time to move on. And this past week, with not being well, kind of got me a chance to just kind of stay focused on, more at home and more like, because I was in bed a lot, so it gave me time to think about things and how I've been wanting to do changes with my channel. And the cards keep coming up for this one particular animal spirit totem that I have. And so her and I are working together to create that new name. So.
Woo, exciting. We'll look forward to that.
Yes.
And you, Colleen, anything coming up? You have the Renaissance Fair?
Yeah, and this Friday we have the World Meditation on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with a guest meditator, Cheryl Avis, and I hope to see both of you there with me as well. And I'm starting the Renaissance Fair on August 27th. That's every weekend, including Labor Day, until October 9th. And yeah, so I'm busy. I'm a busy girl. Yeah.
That's exciting. Oh.
Yeah, Colleen's only going to be a few hours away from me. She's going to get to be in Sterling, New York, correct?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Good. Well, that's exciting.
I went to my first run fair back there in '98 with my friend Christine. We made our costumes for the 2 years, and before I moved to Arizona. So very fond memories of that occasion.
I too. I haven't been, believe it or not, since high school. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, but I never heard of a run fair until I was in my late 20s. And Chris was like, "What? You've never been to one?"
I grew up in California, so it was big there.
Yeah, and the company that owns the one in California now owns the New York one.
Oh,
so, yeah. So I think California, New York, and Texas, those are the three really big ones that last, like ours is 7 weeks. So that's pretty long. Most of them are like a couple of weekends or just a long weekend or something like that. But ours goes for 7 weeks. So yeah, and it's kind of a part of a family of Renaissance fairs. They all kind of group together. Where are you located, Val? What part of the country? Where are you located?
I am actually in Henderson, Nevada. That's next door to Las Vegas. But
you're a Nevada girl.
No, I'm not really, but I've almost been here 20 years. No, I'm a California girl, transplanted. But, I should start identifying as Nevada because, well, I've been here a long time.
But, I apologize with the nose itching. I've got kitty cats sleeping by me, so kitty fur is flying around.
Oh, my gosh. So, Val, I'm from Seattle, Washington. I was I was born and raised in Seattle. And I still have family there. But I've been on the East Coast pretty. I mean, I moved back once to the West Coast, but pretty much for the last 40 years, I've been here on the East Coast. But I still consider myself a Seattleite.
Where you were raised, it kind of sticks with you. That's
true.
Yeah. My fella's from the Pacific Northwest, Oregon. Washington, out by Yakima. He actually grew up in Jacksonville in Oregon, and so we're hoping within the next couple of years we can save up and just relocate and
That would be nice.
finish
Yeah.
out there. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful.
I have relatives on Whidbey Island.
Oh yeah, I have friends in Whidbey Island. That's a small island. We should compare notes because they probably know each other. That's a very small place.
My cousin runs the ballet conservatory. So,
I love ballet.
In the theater group there. So, they're kind of in that Oak Harbor community.
Cool. Very cool.
I want to be a ballerina.
Anyway.
I did too when I was younger. Yeah, I took dance for many, many, many years. I danced for many, many years. So.
Oh wow, you guys are way ahead of me. I never did any of that, but
any arts I was into. My cousin played flute. I looked up to her. I want to learn flute, and then I wanted to do ballet. Then the family couldn't really afford to keep me in dance, but I could play the flute. And then I wanted to be a singer, and I was in choirs and choruses growing up until I got older. That I was told your voice changed too much, you can't do it. And then I went to the arts. So it's just like I've been through everything, anything with the arts.
Oh man, I wish I was like that. No,
writing and everything.
I was
Math,
too introverted for
engineering, science, out the door.
Oh my God.
So Val, what years were you at Hogwarts? I see you're wearing a Hogwarts shirt.
They put me in Slytherin.
You poor thing.
Sorry.
I don't know what they were doing.
Well, it's the damn hat.
Gryffindor. But anyway.
And they don't do transfers there. I really don't like that. No transferring.
But no, they would not put me in another house. No, I'm stuck.
You're stuck.
I actually love the name Ravensclaw. That really caught me, and I'm like, Gryffindor is okay, but Raven and that was cool.
Yeah, very much. Hey, have either of you seen? Are either of you Game of Thrones fans? Okay, all right.
I hear a lot of
next
stuff.
Next topic.
Okay.
We don't have to go there.
We should probably start our questions because
let's start.
They're going to be lengthy.
But we learned so much about each other with these questions, though. So Game of Thrones. I mean, I'm X-Files. I love X-Files.
I'm X-Files.
Yes, X-Files.
The Discovery of Witches.
My husband is Game of Thrones.
Great show.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't caught it yet, A Discovery of Witches is well done. There's only 3 seasons.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to watch it.
You can find it on AMC.
Yeah.
It's people might start to roll their eyes, but it's not like I'm not going to knock Twilight. Twilight I thought was really interesting, and the way it was produced and filmed and everything, really good. But this concept is similar, but it's more for people who can handle the more graphic content.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't like horror films and really violent graphics.
No, me neither.
But the way that this was done, it was balanced out where it wasn't all about the gore, oh my goodness, we got a troll.
We do? We don't even have, there's no.
Oh, you're looking on the YouTube?
Sharon. Yeah, Sharon.
In chat. Sharon, help us. Sharon. But it's just the costuming, the storyline, the development of the characters. For me, Shannon and I just absolutely fell in love with it. So it takes a lot for me to be impressed with the show, to keep watching it. And I heard a lot about Game of Thrones was very violent, sometimes a lot of violence towards women. And for me, that would have been, I think, too triggering, too upsetting maybe for me. Mm-hmm. Want to find love in your area? They can help us. Sorry.
Do we have a moderator? Do we have someone who can?
I just made Sharon's the moderator now.
Okay. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for your help.
I think I am. No, I'm
oh,
not
man. And I hate that name, 69mega.com. Are you kidding me? Oh, please remove that person.
I made Karen Robinson also.
I don't believe Karen is with us.
Yep, she is. She loves.
Okay.
She loves Bremerton and Seattle. Me too, Karen. I was just talking to my sister today about Bremerton. We're talking about the naval base.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, my fellow was a CB back in the day, so gotta give it out to our veterans, our men and women.
Okay.
Thank you,
Karen
Sharon.
Robinson. Oh boy. Karen, you know what? That question that you asked us about Sterling saying there's no spell magic, that's a whole other show. But I'll just
wait,
say
there's no such thing as spell magic?
I agree to disagree with Sterling on that one.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that he says that
yeah,
I just don't.
I too have to admit that some things are not don't resonate totally with me.
Yeah.
But we can't all be.
Yeah.
We're not always going to say things that the other person is going to resonate with, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think the whole point is that we are not all the same. I think that's the whole point. I mean, girls can talk to each other and be okay that, one person thinks it's okay to color their hair and another person doesn't. We're okay with that. One person wants to paint their nails, one person doesn't. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
It's fine, it's fine. But I think that I would draw the line at somebody said, oh no, you can't actually color your hair. That's impossible. Having done it for many years, I would beg to differ. So
yeah, especially when you start going premature gray in high school. That's when because it's just like, oh, when can I afford, to have it done? Oh my God!
Were you accused of coloring your hair when it started to change?
No, they knew.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't big, but for me, it was just like I had to start in high school because I took after my dad. Premature gray.
Oh, wow.
So, yep, 18, 19, there they started to come.
Wow.
Wow. I had a funny situation with my hair. My mom, it was just a kook for fads. She just loved everything fashionable. And in those days, she wore her hair black, pretty much black, very, very, very dark brown, but she had a white streak, probably where I have it. I can't do it backwards on the camera. So she had a white streak that went like this, and her and my aunt actually had the exact same hairdo and hair color. And so when I was in high school, she said, you would look cute if you did your hair with, some blonde streaks in it. And she was talking about getting my hair frosted, which I didn't want to do. But so
I did, and it didn't work.
We came to a compromise, and I went to this hair colorist who took like one square of my hair right out of the middle, just bleached all the color out of it and made it very light blonde. And then I parted my hair in the middle and I looked kind of like a skunk. I had brown hair with the blonde in there. And I thought it looked very cool. My mom loved it. She thought it was very cool. And I got people asking me, is that natural? And so the first person who asked me that, I just looked at him and said, oh yeah, I take after my mother. They believed it. Like, really?
There's a lot of people that.
Girl,
I think there are some people who genetically have things like that happen. So
yeah, but
rare few.
This was like so obviously okay, but
no, I get what you're saying, but
yeah,
but definitely spells do work. I mean, it's all about the spell work. Is like if you go to church. I was raised Catholic. You go light a candle, you say a prayer, you're putting your intent, you're putting your emotion into it, and you're handing it over to a higher power. That is spells. Catholics don't realize how witchy they are, how pagan they are.
Very witchy.
It's not to offend anybody. Oh, they're back again. Hi, Scott.
It's just what Colleen was saying backstage. It's just the different words for the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, words can be so triggering.
Yeah,
and they can confuse us. But we just have to keep talking. We just have to keep the conversation going because that's the only way we're going to figure out who we all are.
True, very true.
Yeah,
and be inclusive of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one of the things that kind of gets me is I know that witchcraft and being able to speak openly about paganism and different traditions is becoming more available now. but still you're getting that media that is still showing that if if something bad happened to you and you saw that it was a woman, like an evil spirit or something, it was a witch that did it, because witches cast spells and they do this and that. And I've had more negative energy and stuff sent to me by people that are Christian.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with the religious. Is if you're thinking a curse at somebody, whether you're Catholic, you're, whatever, religious background you are, you put anything hateful or curseful behind your thoughts or words or energy, and you're saying that out to somebody, that's the exact same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it
is
comes real
from here, the heart.
Yeah, it does. And it's such a challenge today to not respond with anger and not respond with not hate. I don't really hate anybody, but I do get annoyed. I do get annoyed with people. I gotta say, there's a lot of, politicians. I get really annoyed with them. But it's very challenging to not respond on that low level. It's such a, I mean, it's a daily struggle.
That's
for
why
me.
I don't watch the news, or I don't watch a lot of political channels, or I don't read a lot on politics, because I just can't handle that same energy day in and day out, same questions, expecting different results within just a few days, because you got to give that energy a chance to play itself out, to work itself out. And so after a while, I got so drained that I had to cut off, because I was introduced back into, reading and tarot again via Marie's Table and Linda G. And they were, I could laugh with Linda G when she would do her political readings and everything. And then I started following Cash, and then I came across Scott and Debbie and Andrea. But then because I started watching everybody's channel, it was like every day I was like taking in that energy. And it was just like, oh man, I have got to stop. I love everybody, but I just can't. So I have to carefully pick and choose which shows I watch, to kind of get an idea of what's going on and what, fellow readers are picking up on. Because after a while, that just sets into you. Some people are able to just block it out and it's, not an issue. But for me, that type of energy, it was just like, nah, I can't do it anymore.
Right.
I prefer, sometimes I do read on dark things. Like for a while I was doing true crime with Maya on Black Cat Tarot, and we were reading on missing, murdered or exploited children, women. Sometimes families would reach out to us. That was heavy energy, but at least for me, it was a way of giving back and helping give clarity, and giving victims a voice, helping to maybe figure out what their story was. And for me, I found that a lot more, what's that word? I don't say gratification, but it made me feel like I could use what I'm learning, what my gifts are, to be able to help.
Right.
Yeah. And so I'm continuing the true crime with Sharon from Strawberry Rhubarb, Sharon Lee, on this Monday. We're reading on a missing child from Vancouver. So
I see Scott saying an ex-girlfriend who established herself as a Wiccan psychic did negative spells that worked on others, but she'd get the energy back at her via DUI or life problems.
So yeah.
Yeah, if you do negative stuff, it's going to come back. Yeah, it's absolutely going to come back.
Put that energy out, and you get an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah. The Wiccan read is very close to the same oath that doctors take. Doctors take an oath that says, do no harm. And Wiccans, the Wiccan read says, and it harm none, do what thou wilt. So you can't do stuff that harms people and not expect to get stuff back on you. So you don't do that. You don't manipulate people. You don't do that. Most of the people that I know, when they first start studying Wicca, they're all excited about spell work. Ooh, I'm going to get a Mercedes Benz and a real high paying job, and I'm going to be set for life. That's kind of not what the spiritual path is about. Hello.
When I was younger, it was all about making somebody fall in love with them.
Yeah, or that's the other one, making someone fall in love with you. But very quickly, people realize that the real path of most Wiccans is self-development. It's working on yourself. It's your own spiritual path. Has nothing to do with affecting others' lives except for the better. You know, right. Your children, help your family, help your community, send out love, send out healing. It's all positive, 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 positive. Now, if somebody does something real dirty to you, you should be able to protect yourself and just send that energy right back to them. That's it. You don't need to harm anyone. That is not what it's about.
Right, right. Well said.
And those who do that, they are breaking the very oath that they took when they became, you know, whether you're part of a coven or if you're a solitary, like I have been, you know, since my 20s, because I have met so many that have broken that oath, and I have been on the receiving end of some of that, and it's unfortunate, and that's why people say, well, do you really feel like you're safe? You should still do this. And it's like, I don't want to have what other people's, what they do or what they say affect what my spiritual path is going to be. Yes. So in the process, I learned, well, start working on building your boundaries better, your energetic boundaries. Try to be a little bit more careful on how much you share. And I experienced that a lot again this year. And it's been kind of difficult, been an eye-opener. So I know definitely that I have to start learning more boundaries, especially, you know, not just psychic ones, but personal boundaries with individuals, because like in any area of life, you're going to have people who feel threatened, or they're not going to like you and decide to do something for fun, or you know what I mean? So as long as everyone learns to just keep that aura of that love and that light around you. And actually, this is an interesting topic. If I could bring that up, especially with you, Colleen, because you have such an understanding of, you know, Wiccan values and reads. When people say a lot of, well, in love and light, we're being taught that light is good, dark is bad, and that has followed through. Because I have a lot of Black friends, and one of my friends was also into spirituality, similar to this. For her, that was always a negative for her, because everyone was assuming, well, if you're white, then you're good. If you're any other color, you're bad. And so I left that behind. I said, well, that's not what this means. This just means in light. But then as I've gotten older, I'm learning that, wait a minute, there is like dark, but that dark can be healing as well. So I'm hoping that at some point we can really start changing the terminology and the understanding and meaning behind that, to inflect that, yes, you know, light is good. That's, you know, source, but also source cannot have that dark. The dark is a part of that light of source. It's together. It's what brings balance. And I think that might lead to, Val, to your question about sacred feminine and sacred, you know, masculine, keeping that balance. And even though, yes, there is dark energy and spell work and things that people do that are of a dark nature, it doesn't mean that the color dark is necessarily evil or bad. It's a tool that helps us to dive deeper into past traumas, including possibly past lives, and using that darkness and that light to shine and bring about what we need to heal and learn and change. I know that was a mouthful. Just now.
Well, that was great. I choose different vocabulary for a lot of the things that you're talking about. So as far as dark and light goes, I don't equate dark with negative, and I don't equate light with positive. Light to me, because I'm an astrologer, light to me is the sun.
Yeah.
And the dark, although the moon reflects the light, the moon without the sun is dark. So the feminine is the darkness, and the masculine is the light, the lightness, or the yin and yang, right? Shadow work is something else you were talking about. And that does have to do with the parts of our psyche or our soul that we're not too happy about, or that we deny so much that we don't even recognize it. We don't even know what it is. That's a whole other video. That's a whole
that is a whole other
thing. But when you're talking about, you know, people of different color that are having problems with other people who are using terms in Wicca and they feel that it's pejorative or it's judging them, I can relate, because people often judge me if I call myself a witch, and they're like, oh, she's a witch. Oh, I can't stand her. She's a witch, you know, because they don't understand the word. But darkness has nothing to do with good or bad. You cannot have light without the dark, and vice versa. Nobody goes into a room and says, turn on the dark, you know, because darkness just is. Darkness is really everything. And healing and growth take place in the darkness. You know, we bandage things up to let them heal. We cover them from the light, right? When you're gestating a baby, that's in the darkness. That's in the womb, right? So darkness can be tremendously healing, tremendously powerful. You need to know how to use these forces, these energies, these intentions. And that's why spell work does or doesn't work for people. But I mean, in general, do I need spell work? Not so much. You know, I work on myself. I know that I have to look at things within myself that are maybe negative and maybe not so positive, and I have to work on that. But we're all a work in progress. If we were not working on ourselves, what else would we be doing? We'd be transitioning into the all one or whatever it is out there, and we'd be done. But it's always a journey. There's always something to learn. There's always something to do, I think. And the dark light thing, I think, is overused. Those words are overused. And I think it helps to develop a language, a vocabulary that specifies that when we're talking about dark, we're not talking in terms of judgment. There's no judgment about the dark. The dark just is, the light just is. Light tends to be something that people who are not as well educated about spiritual things, when you say love and light, people think that that's an acceptable phrase. It's like angels. Everybody accepts angels. Everybody thinks angels are good. Well, if you really could see angels, there's some pretty terrifying looking angels out there. And some of them are not that good. By the way, they are not all cute with
he's a fallen angel,
but angels are not all cute with round cheeks and wings, you know?
Yeah.
They present that way so that we accept them. Just like when people say, oh, I'm sending you love and light, because we all accept that. Or I'm a light worker. We accept that. But really, honestly, I think they're all witches, but that's just me. But people don't like that word, and they get very triggered by that word. I get that, and I'm not trying to force that on anybody. But the whole dark light thing, I think we need to develop a more discerning vocabulary to talk about it. And in that way, then we're more inclusive to everybody. Then everybody can be a part of the dark and the light, but also a part of the healing, a part of the joy, a part of the love, all that stuff. I just think people need to be more educated about it, and they need to be just a little careful about how we use the words dark and light. It isn't just positive and negative. Light is in an abundance, the big, the expansive. The dark is smaller, more concise, but healing. And you need both. Okay, I'm done. Soapbox is off.
We're already halfway through
this. When it comes to dark, that's one of the things that, you know, like with black cats.
Questions. Circle back.
But with black cats, I adopt black cats when I can, or they find me. because people still have that medieval mentality that black cats are of witches, of evil, of the devil, and they're not to be trusted, and they're bad luck. And my babies have brought me nothing but love my whole life. So that's where, again, we need to change with the dark. Yes, I understand. She wants to make sure we all understand that black is not
I do understand.
Yes.
Okay, I love black cats too, and I agree with you. And by the way, everybody, PSA here, we're coming into the time of the year, kind of like the countdown to Halloween, and that's when so much violence against black cats happens. So if you see homeless black cats, please feed them, give them a place in your basement to come to or something, so they don't get hurt, because people be crazy and they do mean things to animals, and I don't like those people. But you can help by just not letting them see the black cat, and then they can't hurt them. Okay, that's my idea.
Well, there are some animal shelters that will not adopt out black cats to anybody for the first month or so, or for the entire month of October, to try to help keep them safe.
Yeah,
because of that mentality.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies, are we really ascending? And what will that look like? Is that really something that's happening to the earth plane or to people on it? And what do you, if we really are, what is that going to look like?
I think we are. I think we are. I think the fact that there are so many people who are watching videos like this kind of attests to that fact. I think the whole world has a certain number of people all over it that are really doing this. I don't think we're at the point where it's like half the population of the world or anything, but I think we're in the millions now, I would venture to say, because people are doing so much alternative healing, so much different types of divination, and just talking about spirituality, and all of that raises your vibration. So yes, we are all helping to raise the vibration of the planet. We are in a period where the planet itself is raising its own vibration, and we will continue to do this. I don't know how long it'll take, but the ultimate goal is to not be carbon-based life forms anymore. And that's going to take a while. I don't know if I'll see it in my lifetime, but I think all the things, the dietary changes that are happening, I mean, part of that is that we're just lousy custodians of the earth, but that's one thing. But I think eventually we will be much more light in our bodies and eventually become light bodies. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's sounds
I
good.
don't know about ascending, because for me, in my head, when I see ascending, I keep seeing more of, for me personally, I see an evolution. And for me, that goes up and it goes down. There are cycles. And I guess it could be described as ascending. I know the frequencies are, everything going on in the world right now. It shows that the energy has been changing, has been shifting. For me, it still very feels like there is a power struggle, because unfortunately you do have the bad dark, up against those who are, I don't say dark. Let me take that completely out of the vocabulary. Because I know they like saying dark money. Dark, because I know they say dark government, dark money, but things hidden, things that are hidden within, shadows. They can't even hide in the shadows anymore. The shadow is pushing them out. The light and the shadow are pushing these individuals out, these energies. And they are, I think, really getting people to look and change how they live their lives, how they perceive the world around them. And there are those who are probably going to suffer greatly because that connection to what they've always known that was, and I don't want to say a lower energy, because our earth has a deep lower energy that's just as important. So like you said, this whole, you know, concept of changing vocabulary, um, maybe it's just perspective. I mean, a person's, because bear with me, everybody. This past week has been difficult because I haven't been feeling well. So I'm just starting to finally get my energy back and being able to start thinking clearly about stuff. And I just feel like this wave of energy. I don't know if it's necessarily ascending, descending. It feels like it's both, and it's going over the planet. It's going through the planet. It's emitting from, um, and it vibrates. I keep seeing like there's these energy waves just going out to the entire universe and expanding out. And I think that is what's bringing a lot of things to a head right now, bringing things out into the light where people can actually see what's going on. And there are going to be those who are going to want to hold on to what they see as the light that is not going to serve them any longer, but may not be able to let go of it. So I know I'm not really answering the question, I don't think.
You are. Yeah.
But I feel like it's more of like a merry-go-round. You're going up and you're going down, and you know, your perspective changes. When you go up, you see things differently. When your perspective, you know, when you go down, you see a different perspective. So for me, I don't know if it's necessarily a continuing vibration upwards, as in it's a balancing of energy.
Right.
That just popped into my head. So maybe like more like a balancing and an evolution of energy that's taking place, not necessarily ascending, because then I don't want to negate anything that might be a lower energy that does help people heal and to, you know, work through traumas and things. I think all frequencies and vibrations have their purpose in healing. Or else why would we be here on this earth without experiencing all of this as part of our evolution?
Very true. Very true. Very true.
And I was gonna say, okay, someone got the bot again. That bot just loves us today, ladies.
Yeah.
This yeah, oh.
Back again.
I'm gonna put him in a timeout. There he is.
I mean, I've been forced this year to have to change my diet as well. I found out that I have lupus markers, and now on top of the fibromyalgia, I really had to, you know, change my diet. And of course, they make it harder for people to eat healthier because they raise the prices on everything that's healthier. And so it's been tricky. And there's some days when it's just like we got a few bucks for, all right, let's just grab a package of this hamburger and a box of this, because that's all, you know, we can maybe necessarily afford, or just as a treat. And then after a while, after you eat it, I'm starting to noticing how awful I feel. And it's like, okay, that's that vibration, that frequency of what I just ate is not helping me. So once you start changing your diet and you go back to have your little treats, you start to notice, you know, major changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to drink a 2-liter of this stuff a day. And then I went down to a couple cans of the 24-ounce ones. Now, these ones are the smallest ones you can get. And I've been nursing this, you know, I'll drink maybe half of it. And so it's my treat. I go to it, but now my body's saying, okay, you can't handle that anymore. And hopefully at some point that'll be completely out of my system. But it does take a change, you know, and you can ask your guides to help you, you know.
And that segues, Heather, right into the next question, which is, as light workers, what powerful practices can we implement to raise our vibration? And you were just saying food either brings it up or takes it down, you know, your frequency, how you feel. What other things can you recommend people might try doing to raise their vibration?
Art, creativity. I'm an artist. And when I say artist, it doesn't mean because I have so many people, I can't only draw stick figures. And it's just like people don't realize artistic or creativity does not focus on how well you draw a human figure. It's so much more
Thank
than
goodness.
that. It's
I wouldn't
going,
be
even if that's all you can draw, there's still a way of expressing oneself through however their skills are. And if they want to improve their skills, they can take classes. I started out young without really any skill at all until I got older. I had teachers acknowledge, and then they worked with me. And then I went to college and they worked with me. So for being creative, even if it's just a coloring book, using your intuition to pick colors that speak to you, that calm you, that relax you. Even if it is doodling, if it's crocheting, if it's baking, if it's working out in the garden, that all stems from being creative. You have a vision in your mind. You find that passion within, and you fall into that. I don't want to say trance, but you fall into that flow. That flow of your passion and that energy, and you do what best helps you with that. And I love crystals too. I brought one of my favorite pieces to show. I have an obsidian butterfly.
Wow.
And for me, crystals, when I was living in Arizona, I came across Reiki crystal healing. And so stones like obsidian, black, smoky quartz, excuse me. They're good for grounding. I just came across this guy, and it's called Bumblebee Jasper.
Oh,
These
I love
are actually from volcanoes. They're created different sediment layers. And for healing self-heart, of course, the rose quartz, for loving people, for self-love, for yourself, for traumas. Opal is also a beautiful stone for speaking your truth, healing any traumas with a gentle energy. And I'm just all about opal, so I had to bring another little, opal. But for me, the crystals, grounding, breathing, doing artwork of any kind, anything creative that gets your hands moving, your mind someplace else, because then you notice that your breathing relaxes, you become more focused, you become more calm, you're present, you're in the moment, and you get grounded, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And it's not an overnight pill either. It's something to work on, because I do have bipolar, I do have PTSD, and I've taken groups over the last few years through DBT that teaches that how you use your coping skills, how you handle stressful situations, and what you can do, and surfing those emotions and knowing that you're going to be safe, especially when you call on your spiritual team, your higher power, to get you through those moments and to connect you and get grounded. But if someone were to ask me what's the one main thing, and for me, that's deep breathing. 3 deep breaths in, 3 deep breaths out. Because once you start breathing, that's when everything just focuses, and you're able to get to that mind state where you can start getting what's going on around you, or, that's affecting you, to calm down, if that makes sense.
Right.
The deeper the breathing, the deeper the healing, the more focused you become in how you can handle certain situations.
Good. And Colleen?
No, Heather took answers. No, I'm kidding.
It worked for me too. That was comprehensive.
Yeah, that was very good. That was very good.
I kind of went over
care of the crystal.
That's great. So all the things that Heather said.
Yeah.
And then I'll add a few of my own. So I think the practice of meditation is very, very important. I think everybody can figure out how to take 5 minutes. Even if you don't know how to meditate, just take 5 minutes to do the breathing that she was talking about, but then just go within. Don't worry about stopping your mind. It's not TM. It's not transcendental meditation. It's just getting still and centered within yourself. And if you can do that 5 minutes a day for a week or two, you can probably do it for 10 minutes a day. You can probably increase that over time if you want to, if it feels good. So meditation is super, super important, I think. And other things that help raise your vibration are doing things that you're passionate about, as Heather said. That's really important. But also using your meditations with intention. So if your intention is to figure out what the reason is that you're anxious about a certain person or a certain situation, you can meditate about that. Once you kind of get the gist of how to meditate, you can use that meditation for healing, for calming you, for getting you in touch with your higher self, for taking, cosmic journeys up to the stars. You can do a million things with your meditations, but you do need to start the process of meditating. And as you do that, your blood pressure will lower and stabilize. Your heart will beat easier. You will just feel better. And a lot of it is that the cues that the human body takes from that deep breath in and blowing out. And I would suggest the initial breathing that you do in the beginning of a meditation, blow out through your mouth, because that gives you circular. So you've got the in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's a cue to your brain, to your pineal gland, to the back of your brain, to the reptilian brain. And that tells your body, chill out, just relax. It's a physical fact. It is a fact that works. So even if you think you're too hyper, once you take those few breaths, you'll calm down. And besides that, then you should just start looking for things that you really like that make you feel happy and calm. Do you like tarot cards? Okay, go look at tarot cards or go look at tarot card readers. Do you like looking at art? Do you like listening to music? Do you like taking long walks? Do those things that make you really feel good. Take care of yourself, in other words, because that will raise your vibration and allow you also to take care of yourself at the same time. And those two things are things that most women are taught in early childhood are not for them. Oh, you'll never have time for that once you're a mom, or once you go to college, you'll be so busy you won't know what to do, or, like that. This practice of taking care of oneself begins to deprogram you from that.
I was going to say that programming. Yep.
You not only will it deprogram you, but that in itself raises that vibration. Find like-minded people to commune with, whether it's in a chat like this, or a video that you watch, or a group that you go to live and in person. Like-minded people, that's a huge support, because every time you walk in the room, you're getting so much love from them, so much love from them. And wherever you find people who love you, spend more time with them, because that love is reciprocated and that raises your vibration. So just, the happy place is nice, but also connecting with other human beings is even nicer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
Very true.
And I just want to add something really quick onto that. My counselor, I've been having her for, I think she's been a counselor for like 6 years. One of the things that she always teaches us, especially when we were in group, is that when you do have moments where you feel like you have anxiety or your emotions are getting the best of you, besides doing the deep breathing, she says, always have at ready a place in your mind that you can go to that brings you happiness, that brings you peace, whether it's sitting at a beach that you went to as a child with family, if it's sitting in a flower garden, if it's looking at, or sitting in a building that anything she said that brings you that peace, that joy, that calming effect, so that you can go there in your mind while you're using your other coping skills also. So your imagination is very powerful too. So whatever you can create in there to help you go in when you're having those moments as well is a really strong tool to have.
Yeah. And if you have pets, animals are of the angelic realm, especially domesticated animals. They're here to help us. So, stroking your cat's head, petting your dog, having them in your lap, that's a great way to calm down and raise your vibration. And when you are out in nature, trees are very powerful beings. They're sentient beings. If you back yourself up and put your spine right against a tree, or sit down with your spine against a tree, that tree will heal you. You don't even have to tell the tree what you need healing for. When you get back up, I guarantee you're going to feel 500% better, because trees are amazing. And they're just there. If you're lucky enough to live in a place where there's a few trees, they're just there waiting for you to commune with them.
True.
They're doing a few other jobs on the planet too, I think. But they're
my native friend Jill today. I reached out to her about having been not well this past week, and she says try to get to a tree. She goes, tree medicine, especially cedar. If you can get cedar, drink cedar tea, bathe in some cedar, get a little bit of tobacco, give it an offering to the tree. But anything that you can do that's got tree medicine, she goes, it will help you through this. And then you just said that.
Yes, yes, yes. 1,000 times yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think we only have time for one or two more questions, but this one is, I think, really important for people now. What can we do to keep our space cleared? We've talked about keeping our vibration at, and really great ideas about that. But keeping our space balanced and clear, what can we do to do that? Run around with our smudge.
Yeah, you can't really burn sage every single day and make the whole house circuit. That's a bit.
It's a little bit much.
But you can use stones to keep your vibration up, and to keep your stones clear, you can keep selenite near the stones.
Selenite.
Just do not put your selenite in water. Thank you. If you have
gypsum people, it'll melt.
Yes.
I've been hearing this about selenite.
You have to be careful with that. And selenite comes in different colors. It's not all white, although white is a great selenite. But just stones are really good. And yes, once in a while, burn that sage. Open your doors and windows. Let some actual fresh air into your house. That's a great way to move energy. But I think the biggest mover of energy is if you can establish your own spiritual devotion or practice that you do regularly. You don't have to do it every single day if you don't want to. If you want to, great. But having a regular spiritual practice wherein you send out protection around your whole property or your whole house, and include that you want this protection for your whole family and anyone who lives in the house, your dogs, your cats, the fairies, whoever. You want protection for all entities that are under your roof. The Hindus have a way of referring to this. The person who runs the house, who owns the house, they are the householder. And everybody who comes under their roof, the householder is responsible for their well-being. So just think of yourself as the householder, and think of yourself as the guardian of all the people who are in that house. Not that you have to do everything for them or clean their room or whatever, but you do have to send out energy so that they are protected, and then you're protected too. So I think that somewhat regular devotional practice is really, really important. And then if you have specific problems, probably Heather can tell you better than me, specific stones you might carry to keep your aura good. But in your house, if you have an altar or just on a bookshelf, get those stones that are protective and put some selenite next to it. Okay, I'm done. Heather, over to you.
Well, we had to move into an apartment building back in April, and it was needed. But it's taken a lot of getting used to, because now I'm living in a building where we have people that smoke all kinds of things, fighting, cursing, door slamming. Some nights it gets a little nervous for me. I am up in Niagara Falls in the town, and the actual violence rate has gone up. We are one of the most unsafe cities now.
Oh no!
In the country. And so when I go into my room before lives or anything, I used to light sage all the time. I hold that for, special things, but I really come to love Palo Santo. And if you can't burn like incense or sage sticks because of allergies or people in the house that don't like it, You can also get Palo Santo now in spray. I know Heather from Silver Star Priestess uses the spray. Crystals, definitely. Selenite and obsidian by your main door. So anybody coming in or walking out, gets cleansed, or any of the extra negative energy gets sucked into the, into the obsidian. That's why dark is not evil, especially with those stones, because with the dark, like with crystals, they absorb electromagnetic energy. They absorb negative energy from others. And when you get these stones and these crystals, you can also speak to them personally, and the term is programmed by like speaking to them and asking
one of my
them,
questions.
can you, you already know what their properties are, but just ask, please bless and cleanse my home of any and all negative energy, entities, or individuals coming, in or around my house. The selenite is very powerful too for cleansing. You can put any stone near selenite, and selenite can cleanse that stone as well. Black tourmaline, of course, the black obsidian. What's the other stone? Shungite, I learned about last year. Shungite's a very strong, powerful clearing and protective stone. So if you want to leave that,
black onyx.
Black onyx.
Trying to think of, yeah.
Because those stones absorb, that energy. And like with the selenite, they say it reflects, but I still think the stone takes in and then releases. So they work in tandem, together. And if you're just going out and about in your day, hematite is also good if you have anxiety also. And this is just for, I don't want to say entertainment, but this is just, things that I have learned that I'm sharing with everybody. But, make sure to check in with your doctor, as we would all agree, if you have any health things coming up. But have hematite is very good for grounding. If you want to keep a black piece of tourmaline or obsidian in your pocket, or like onyx for the protection. If you want to maybe keep some rose quartz for women in your bras. A lot of women can fit, you don't have to get big ones, small ones to put in around your heart chakra to keep you calm, keep, compassionate. If you need to bring money, into your, green, green too is good for health as well. So just search, the different stones, check different authors, and because everybody, there will be a certain amount of stones that will have pretty much the same across board, but other authors or people that they have worked with may have, because we're not all the same, we're not cookie cutter. So certain stones might work better for some people than others because of the frequency or the vibration of your energy compared to that of the crystal. Right. So just research, and just like before I go to sleep every night, I ask, Saint Michael the Archangel, protect Shan and I, protect our fur babies, protect our home inside and out, protect any of the animals that are living outside, so I try to make sure I do all that before I go to sleep. So whatever feels right for you, and like, Colleen said, on as much as you can on a regular basis.
Yeah, I want to add just one thing. Like clear quartz crystal is really good for a lot of different things. But the thing that I use it for the most is that it expands or magnifies whatever stones it's around. So if you're using a stone for a particular purpose and you want to boost that, you can have a small piece of that stone and then a small piece of quartz crystal, and it just expands what any stone is able to do. So I think that's important, because people are really big and they keep saying crystals, and a lot of people have quartz crystals. I think they don't even know what they're for. They have them in earrings and stuff.
You can program them too to do anything that you need for them to do.
Yes, you can, and you should. You absolutely should always do that. You should know your crystals. You should know your rocks, and they are literally friends. They have a spirit. They actually do. They really can do whatever you need them to do. But like she said, you got to do a little bit of research on the stones. If you're asking a green stone to do what a red stone would normally do, you're kind of fighting, you're going uphill. So,
True.
so find out what they do.
Yeah, that's a good.
And apophyllite is also a really good amplifier too, especially if you do Reiki healing or you are going to do any energy work on yourself. Just even a small little triangular piece, that they sell in the crystal shops. Those are amazing too for kicking up. I don't say kicking up, but I'm going brain dead now. I'm going mush.
It's an hour or so.
But the quartz crystal, it gives it a boost, an energy boost. And I did see Red Angel really quick. Moldavite. Moldavite it's a person-to-person basis. I don't know what Colleen's experience is. I know Scott has said that it made him a little too jittery, and I think that might be because his vibration is already high. Moldavite does have a high vibration, and for some people, that high vibration is too much. I did work at a crystal store where we had a lady come in. She saw a beautiful Moldavite ring, and this is going back to 2007 or 8 when it first came out. And she was wearing it, admiring it, just kind of wanted to walk around, let's see what was at the store. And then a few minutes later, she's like, "I need water. Get this off of me." And we had to pull up a chair for her, get her some water, and she had to sit down for a few because she started, sweating, her heart started racing, she started getting jittery. The Moldavite was not for her. I have a piece. I just hold it every now and then. I haven't really worked with it in a lot of years. I am going to go back to it, but just be aware of how you feel holding, a piece, and be careful too, because of TikTok. And then talking about Moldavite, apparently it has skyrocketed, and there's only one place where you can get Moldavite. And so to take in all these orders, there are a lot of places that are selling resin Moldavite, fake Moldavite, to people who buy crystals for their shops or, through whatever stores online, and people are getting duped. So be very careful, because now Moldavite is very expensive, and just make sure that where you get it from is a reputable dealer.
Good point.
Yeah, I keep my Moldavite in a little plastic case so that I only take it out when I'm ready to work with it. And it's like the size of my pinky nail. It's the tiniest little rock of it, but that stuff is powerful. So,
It's
like
that big, and it's a tear shape too.
Yeah, read the warning. Read the warning before you use Moldavite.
I have mine, and I only take it out every so often. I have the necklace version, so it
I couldn't wear it next to my heart chakra. Oh my God,
it's pretty powerful.
And some people, they just really resonate. That's why I said everybody's different. That Moldavite might just get in there, and
it had a very extraterrestrial
yes, it does
vibration.
It does. And it does.
There's a couple different theories on how it actually came to be, but I do believe part of it came from, our universe, and when it crashed and it melded with already pre-existing, stones in that area. I think that was the creation, of the Moldavite.
It's good stuff. It's pretty cool. Well, this is we've been on an hour. We only got through a couple of questions, but we got some wonderful answers.
But you'll have plenty of questions now for your next one.
Yeah.
We got lots of questions left. So, but we got comprehensive answers, so it's really great for our community. And, I thank you ladies so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom. It's very appreciated.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
More wisdom.
And I learned a lot, and I got a little bit more of a better understanding of working with, dark energy, with, through, Colleen and her perspective on how, and of course, again, dark energy not being bad, negative.
Right.
Well, if we get out of the concept of
healing,
good and
it's a
bad.
whole new concept for me,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
very fascinating.
Yeah.
And now I can sit and I can write and think about it tonight. It's a whole new, different concept.
Yep, that's a little food for thought.
Yeah, the more we talk about this stuff, the more we begin to see that we are probably all aiming towards the same kind of thing, but we're all on our own paths. And we've all been raised in just a weird 3D reality that colors our perspective on even new information that we get. So the more we talk about all of this new information, the more we can
color
change it. We can all come to a better understanding and have epiphanies and new revelations and influence one another in very, very positive ways. So conversations are excellent for this. Thank you so much, Val, for coordinating this.
I am delighted that you both.
If I could just add one quick thing, just to end. When I lived briefly in Massachusetts before I moved out to Arizona. And I wasn't far from Salem, so I would go down and visit Salem on certain days off. And this one woman, I walked into this one store, and I was telling her about my different, background, Catholic, coming into paganism, also connected with Native American spirituality and beliefs, and kind of like struggling and how I'm trying to fit everything together. And she goes, "Come with me." And she took a piece of paper, and she drew a circle and then another one inside. And she goes, "Spirituality and religions and beliefs are like spokes on a wheel." And she's drawing the little spokes. And she goes, "Where are those spokes going to? The center." There's that whole ring of us together, all these different spokes, and we're all being held together, moving and changing in place and growing from that one source, that one circle.
Yes.
And I was just like, wow, okay. So,
yep,
I'm done.
Thank
you for letting me add that on there.
Sure, it was wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you everyone in the community for watching this. And hopefully we'll be back again with some more information.
Yeah, thank you to the moderators with that one thorny bot that kept coming back. My gosh.
I didn't know we were so important, but
yeah, right. Who knew we were so impressive?
But okay, we're going to end our broadcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mozzie says goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.